Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. A company in China asked me if I would review one of their power boxes. There are a lot of people who make these. Jackery is one of the brands that comes immediately to mind. And then there are others out there, and I have tested quite a few of these. This is by far the biggest one that I have tested. So we're going to do first the actual testing. I've got some tests that I do. I test for wave shape and frequency. Okay, and then I'm going to put a very heavy load on it, a 1200 watt heater over here, and then I'm going to put an extremely inductive load on it with this right here. And we'll see how it affects the wave shape and stuff like that. So I've got this thing all set up. We'll go through that, and then we'll go through the features of this. Now this machine will be available on the order of May 10th. So I'm doing a little bit of a pre-review right here. So let's change and look at the machine. Before we jump into this, I want to pay special attention to Dave Barkman, who is a recent new patron. You too can become a patron of this channel by going to patreon.com/KE0OG. Now let's take a look at the unit. This thing is big. It's by Pytes, P-Y-T-E-S, and it's the Ecox 18 Pro, which is 1800 watts out max. That is the same as a 15 amp circuit in a home, okay? And it has 1.466 kilowatt hours, so it could run the 1800 watt load but not for a full hour, or it can run lesser loads for a very long time. Okay, so I have three things set up. The first thing we want to do is look at the wave shape. The wave shape is clearly pure sine wave. Let's see, VRMS is 121 volts, which is a little better than the others because they're usually around 110. And then we look up here at the frequency, and we've got 59.9992 hertz. So in other words, 60 hertz. Now, this is something unusual on this one. I have not yet found a way in the instruction manual of how to switch this to 50 hertz, if that is something that you wanted to do, but it is set up for 60 hertz. Okay, now that we've looked at the waveform, let's put some loads on it. First, a heavy resistive load with the fan. We'll turn this on and we take a look at this while we're doing this. I'm going to turn the fan on. We don't see any perturbation. Okay, now I'm going to turn on 880 watts of heat. Okay, and you see the little click as it adjusts there. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it on to the full 1300 watts of heat. Now this thing immediately starts blowing, but we see that the waveform stays the same. So we'll turn this off. Now you can see right here, oops, that's something I wanted to do. Okay, you can see we've got the percentage full that's in there. If we do AC here, you have to turn on the AC. This eco mode will turn it off if it doesn't sense a load after a certain period of time. The problem with that is if you've got a small load, like charging a telephone, it may not do that properly. So I'm going to turn this off, which means this thing will be on until it's shut off. Okay, and right now it's saying that it'll do 18 watts for 65 hours. I don't know where the 18 watts comes from because there's no load on it right now. Okay, now let's take this load, which is highly inductive. Okay, this is a Milwaukee screw shooter, drywall screw shooter. Had this for a number of years. And if you turn it on just a little bit, I once blew out an inverter by doing just this. Extremely inductive load. Okay, but this thing handles it just fine. Okay, let's take a look at some of the features that we have. I'm just going to unplug everything here so we can get a look at what the unit looks like. There are 3 outlets, okay, here, and they're covered up like that. This is the charging area right here. You're given a very hefty computer power cord. This thing is 14 gauge wire, so it will charge about as much as this can get out of a circuit. This right here, the little Anderson power pole connector, is actually what connects to the solar panels, and I've got the solar panels in this picture here, where you can see that I hooked them up in the sun and use that to put part of the initial charge into this machine. Now over here you've got an on-off. That's for the whole unit. There is on the back of it a light, which is not much of a light. I'll just tilt this down so you can see the light there. That's not much of a light. Some of these have much more powerful lights. Okay, so you can turn that off. The Eco, again, it'll shut down if it senses that it has a very small load. I'm going to leave that turned off for right now. DC turns on all these things. You've got a cigarette lighter plug, max of 10 amps. You've got also little standard barrel connector type plugs that you can put in to connect for 12 volt stuff. And then you have 2 USB, these are power only, okay, power only. So these are used for charging, and they will charge up to a 10 amp, so that's good for your iPad, okay. Now down here we have 2 USB 3, and there's 2 of them, and they will do the full charging up to 60 watts depending on your device. Not all devices take that, but these are USB-C outputs over here. So this up here, a black and a red, are designed to parallel with another one of these if you want more power. Okay, and they even give you a sort of a cable for it. So in the solar panel there are a number of cables that are in there so you can attach whatever works, and the primary cable is this Anderson power pole. The solar panel is a 12 volt solar panel. This right up here is your reset point, okay, and I believe this is a ground if you want to do that. Now one of the things that this says it will do is act as an uninterruptible power supply. You can keep the charging current in and run a device with this, like your radio power supply or something, and if the power goes out, that gives you a full over a kilowatt hour of charging, and it can keep your radio on for a fair bit. Now let's turn around and look at the back. As we do so, we note up on top there is a place here where you can place your phone. I believe you have to turn the DC jack on to do that, and that will charge your phone. Let's turn this around to the back, because on the back it has a lot more information. Now I don't know what this is going to do to your camera, but We'll just give it a little bit here. It's lithium battery. AC input 800 watts. Solar panel up to 800 watts. It says you can put in 12 to 60 volts, okay? So that allows it to do maximum power point tracking, I guess. Charging temperatures, discharging temperatures. AC outlets 3 times 120 volts, 60 hertz. See, it's fixed, 60 hertz. 1800 watts, 3600 watt surge. The surge is for like getting a motor going. DC outputs, they call it a cigarette lighter port. In the US, we've kind of stopped calling them that. We call them power takeoffs or something. 2 times all these things for 2 times DC. Oh, those are those little barrel connectors. USB 3, 2 times 5, 9, 12, up to 3 amps, total 36 watt max. So these are the new USB PD. These are the USB C, 5, 9, 12, 15, 20, 3 amps, total 120 watt max between the 2 of them. It has a wireless charger, 1 times 10 watts, a tiny, dinky LED light. And it's real hard to get this thing up for some reason. But we showed the light earlier. It's just this little thing right here, which will just give you less than a flashlight will give you. Now, it tells you a little bit about charging the thing before using or storing. And that's what I did with the thing. Okay, don't expose this to direct sunlight. Keep away from high humidity. Do not disassemble, reassemble, don't drop it. Not intended for use by persons with reduced physical, sensory, or mental abilities, Okay. Children should be supervised to ensure that they do not play with it. Do not cover it with towels, clothing, or other items because it needs freedom for the fan. Okay, power station may become hot with charging. It's normal. Okay, use power station properly. Is only used for emergency power station. It cannot replace the standard DC or AC power of household appliances or digital products. Okay, very good. All right. Now, this thing will become available on May 10th, 2023. Okay, and I pulled the instruction manual down from the website because it didn't come with one. I just got a pre-production model. This is a pre-production model right here. Let's look it up on Amazon, see if we find anything. Okay, we're going to search for the Pytes, Pytes, and it is the Ecox 18 Pro. I may not even have it yet. Okay, it didn't bring up. These are not the Pytes, these are the other models, Bluetti, so on and so forth. Okay, so this has not yet been released. So we're going to set this video for a release date of around May 5th. So we'll set the release date for this around May 5th because it's due to be released on May 10th. And it's a nice little unit. I've reviewed all sorts of these power stations, and they come in all different sizes, tiny to bigger and so on. There's one I keep in the motorhome that's just the right size to run my my CPAP machine all night in case we have power problems, which occasionally you do. So it's very nice to have that. This one is a little bit heavy because it is full size. it has a nice meter on it that reads input over here, output over here. And see if I were to turn on the DC or the light or something like that. We'll turn on the light. That takes a little bit of power. You can barely see the thing on. Okay, but there we are. There we have it. If you would like to become a supporter of this channel, I'd really appreciate it. You can go to dcasler.com/support and pick a way that works for you. And maybe by the next time we meet, I'll have my teeth back. And until then, 73.